I'm back here with my second video of my second bicycle race. So yesterday I did my first ever race. It was a Cat 5 road race for 39 miles and it went well-ish. I finished, I didn't crash. Someone did crash right in front of me and I was able to avoid being added to that. Actually, I was impressed, the whole Cat 5 group, no one got added to that crash. That one guy was able to crash and, you know, in the middle of everyone, and everyone else avoided him. So that was really good. I was really impressed with the skill of the riders yesterday, and I think it's going to be mostly the same guys today. So today it's still the Swamp Classic, and this is the Criterium, and this is actually being held out here on the Gainesville Speedway. So it's a racetrack. I'm excited for it to be a racetrack. It seems like a racetrack is going to be smoother and safer than sort of like a downtown course, like I've seen a lot of the Criterium videos happen, like on the streets with the gutters and the sidewalks and the sharp corners and everything. This I think should be safer because it should be a clean track. You know, there shouldn't be any dirt or gravel or sidewalks or bumps or cracks. So I'm excited for it to be on a track. I'm a little nervous about it being my first Criterium, because from what I've seen in the videos, from what I've heard talking to other people that have raced more than me, is just that Criteriums are, everyone's a lot closer. There's gonna be a lot more touching, a lot more having to ride right next to someone. You know, you might be sandwiched between two people through a corner, like someone on the inside and someone on your outside, and you have to really hold your line to not screw everything up. So, you know, I have to be able to do that myself, and I have to trust everyone else to do that. I'm glad I did the road race yesterday though, because now I gained a lot of confidence in this group I'm riding with. I mean, it's a Cat 5 group, and I've heard so much like horror stories about Cat 5. Everyone's so nervous about Cat 5, you know, and it's so dangerous and everyone crashes. It was a lot of good riders, you know. And maybe that's just because I'm so inexperienced and I'm the dangerous rider that everyone's worried about. But when I was out there, I really felt like this group was like a good group of riders. The skill level was a lot higher than I had been led to expect coming into it. So it's gonna be a lot of those same guys, and also it being a lot of those same guys, I've pretty much just taken winning the race like off the table. It's not even a dream of mine. Like, that's not gonna happen. I saw these guys yesterday at the road race. I can't win this race. Yesterday at the road race I came in 13th out of 38, but it was a bunch finish, right? I was only, I don't know, 2 seconds maybe behind, or 4 seconds behind the first place. You know, so the whole bunch was still together, but the sprint finish, I just got creamed. So here at the Criterium, I'm hoping it doesn't turn into the same kind of bunch sprint finish that we saw yesterday. I'm hoping that I can make or find or attach myself to a breakaway, just so that I can get that experience, because I haven't seen that yet. I didn't get to be in a breakaway ever during the road race yesterday. So even if it ends up being a losing breakaway, I would like to just be in one at some point, just to have that experience, because I haven't got it yet. And the Cat 5, it's all about getting experience. You know, you have to do 10 races in Cat 5. Winning, it gets you a medal, but that's it. Once you get to Cat 4, now winning gets you points. Now winning actually matters for you know, advancing up into Cat 3. But for now, for Cat 5, all I have to do is finish this race, and I get the check that yes, I did another race. And then at the end of this weekend, that's 2 races down out of my 10. So advancing through Cat 5 seems like it's going to go pretty quick. My race is starting pretty soon. Pretty soon I'm going to go, I already started warming up, pretty soon I'm going to head over to the start line. Let's talk strategy for this race. I might just have none. You know, yesterday in that road race, I tried to sit in a lot, and then I ended up getting bored with the lack of exertion, and then just doing some pointless pulls on the front. So I think really I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. If it means attacking over and over, doing long hard pulls, trying to go off solo, I don't know. I don't care. After yesterday, I realized I'm not going to win a bunch sprint. Probably no way I can win this race. So I'm just going to go out there and do whatever I want to do, and it'll all count as experience, and I can figure out how to win races later. Let's go. Okay, here we go off the start line. A few quick stats about the race to get us started. I had an average speed of 25.8, max of 34.2, average heart rate of 182 beats per minute. That is above my threshold. My threshold is recorded as 177. Now that average speed of 25.8, I'm not sure I believe that. See this map here in the center? That's someone else's map of this race. And their average speed was 25.0. Now look at my map in the top right, and you'll see that the line is kind of all over the place. So I think my GPS may not be as good as a Garmin. I've actually got a Wahoo bike computer. I got it to match my trainer because I've got the Wahoo Kicker trainer. And the GPS I'm really disappointed in on this race. I mean, that map does not at all represent what I actually did. And I thought, when I saw it, I thought that was just sort of a limitation of GPS. But when I look through Strava and I see all the other people in this race and I see their maps on Strava, they look a lot cleaner than mine. So I'm a little bit jealous of that. I might have to switch over at some point. So here in this race, you notice I'm not attacking or doing long hard pulls like I said I was going to. So there's a reason for that. When I was warming up for the race, so it's cold, it's raining. I knew that was going to be the case. So it's raining in my first Criterium. So I need a couple laps to just sort of figure out what's going on, to just kind of feel out what a Criterium is like, what the course is like, what the turns feel like. But also, what actually happened was while we were waiting for our race, we were standing next to the road getting ready to pull up to the start line while the Cat 3-4 race was finishing, and someone crashes right on the finish line of the Cat 3-4 race. So after that, we have to wait for the EMTs to come up and check them out, and everyone's kind of nervous about crashing. No one wants to crash, and everyone starts dropping pressure in their tires to try to get more grip on the road, and so that had us all kind of on edge. Oh, look right here. See, there's a group up there making a gap, and I realize now, like, that's where I need to be. We're halfway through the second lap. I feel like I've sort of got an idea what's going on, and so I decided to go up and get in with that fast group. Now, luckily for me, these guys were also going, so I got to just ride their wheel up instead of having to chase them down myself. And that actually happens a couple times here in the beginning of the race. Mostly the Super Corsa guy, the guy in the black and the light blue, he does a lot of good gap closing that I get to go along with. So here we go. You can see there's 4 riders off the front. This is one of the biggest gaps in the whole race. So here, this guy pulling us up right now, that's the Super Corsa guy I was talking about. So this is a really good gap close he does here that I'm very grateful for. I think I would have put out effort to close that gap, but he just sort of went at it before I got the chance to, and that's fine. Don't worry, I put plenty of work in through the rest of the race, you'll see. So I really do. I was really not so concerned about sitting in this race, and it was very liberating. On my first road race, I think I was thinking too much about sitting in and saving my energy. Like I just want to go out there and ride my bike and race and ride it fast and have a good time. And I would like to win races at some point. Don't get me wrong, but I was just a little frustrated with the experience of the road race, and because I was too focused on sitting in instead of doing what I wanted to go out there and do. So by the end of the road race, I was feeling a little unfulfilled, and it's because I didn't feel like I exerted myself as much as I should have. So in this race, which this was just the next day after the road race, I decided to change that. So here you can see I'm sitting 5th wheel, and we're coming up on the finish of the 3rd lap. Okay, guy in the green jersey, he did a long hard pull. He pulled out. I think he's trying to get in line here, so I've tried to let him do it. But then he looks over at me, and I think he was expecting me to continue pulling through, and he was going to get in somewhere behind me. So I go ahead and close that gap, of course, because it's totally my fault that gap's there. I misunderstood what was going on, but that's no problem. It's early in the race. I've got plenty of energy, and it wasn't a hard gap to close. This is the slowest part of the course right here, and then as soon as you finish that right turn, you can punch it and come through this left turn is really fast. And there I do it, and I loved that feeling of going through that turn super fast like that. The guy in front of me you see here now, number 579, he does end up winning this race. So if you would like to observe someone for proper race strategy, that would be a guy to look at. The guy on the left there, he puts in a lot of long, hard pulls. And at one point, or actually a couple points during the race, I tried to make a breakaway with him, and he was into it. He actually talked to me and said, "Hey, let's work together and let's get away from these guys." Um, but it never actually really happens. There's never a breakaway in this race. What happens is that we end up finishing the race with about 10 or 12 people out of I think 10 people out of the 25 that start, and then everyone else kind of filters in after that. So basically, we made the main group, if you want to consider us the main group, too fast for everyone to keep up with. And then through the race, people are just getting flicked off the back, and we'll start lapping them pretty quick. Actually, you'll see. So that guy that's sitting second wheel right now that I was just talking about, that I try to make a breakaway with later, he actually won the time trial. So he's got a lot of fitness, and he can put forth a very hard effort, sustained effort. Although when I was talking to him, he claims his peak watts that is like in the 700 something range. So that's why he was really trying to get a breakaway going and trying to make it so he would not have to rely on the sprint at the end. And so here you see I'm doing a pull, and I've been pulling for a minute. Almost a full lap, I think, was that pull, right? And he comes back around now. See, there he goes again, and he's the one that I just took the pull from, right? Every time he pulls off the front, he kind of goes right back to second wheel, and he takes another pull as soon as whoever was after him is finished. See right there, he moved out to pull, and then this guy came around him, and he jumps right back on second wheel. He's not concerned at all with sitting in, and I really appreciate that about this guy, is that he's willing to put in a lot of hard work, and I like it like that. Sometimes I see people that are just sitting in the whole time and like really making an effort to avoid ever being on the front, and kind of lose respect for those guys, you know. But if they want to win the race and that makes them win the race, they probably don't care what I think of them. So I'm just following these guys. Now, what I'm really failing on here is that I'm not up on his wheel like I should be, and you'll see that throughout this video. I've always got way too much of a gap going instead of getting a proper draft. So now I'm more getting a proper draft, although I could still be a lot closer to him than what I am. I think that's just nerves and my lack of experience in riding in groups at all. You know, I've done casual group rides 6 or 7 times now, and then this is my second race. So holding a wheel, riding close to somebody, it's still a fairly new idea for me. Sorry about the lens there. That's gonna happen throughout. It's raining through the whole race, and some of these guys were actually out here with no eye protection on, no kind of sunglasses or anything. I thought that was insane, getting the splash up in your eyes. All right, so that guy, you know, he was second wheel, and as soon as the front guy pulled off, he wasn't willing to do a pull because he had just pulled before that. And so I was gonna come around and pull, but then I guess we were dilly-dallying too long. This guy was getting a little antsy. He decided to jump up ahead of me and pull, which is what I did earlier too. You know, I skipped line to do a pull. So this guy here in the green jersey, the bright orange socks, he does a lot of work on this race too, a lot of long hard pulls. And he ends up, I believe, coming in second place. So definitely watch him too and how he does this race. Although, I mean, he does have good racing strategy, but on top of that, he's just a really strong guy. So not everyone's going to be able to do what he does. Now, see, I see him look back. I think that means he's ready for me to go around him. I'm not completely certain on the etiquette there, but that's the signal I took from it. So I pull around and do another pull here, coming through the corner very fast. If that's I doubt that's accurate. There's no way I'm turning at 29 miles per hour. Right here is where I usually speed up, and I could see myself doing 30 on this straight. I am going very fast though. As you see, there's a gap behind me, which I didn't try to do. You know, I didn't jump up from the back in an attack. I think I just pulled through and and started doing my pull too hard. So one guy here on the right, he decides to come up to me, and he sees this gap and he runs up to me. So I think maybe he's trying to make a break with me. But when I see him go by me that fast, I'm not interested to sprinting up to his wheel, because I think that the whole group is right behind me and that they'll just follow me, and I don't think it's my responsibility to close that gap. So a solo rider running away by himself at this point is really not a threat. And that's because our speed's so high. Our average speed for the race being 25 miles per hour. No one's going to be able to hold that off solo by themselves. So you know that if someone's off by themselves, and we're only 8 laps into this race, that they're coming back. There's no way. So see, the kid just did the pull, and then the other guy takes it, and then the kid gets right back in on second wheel. I see people do that a lot during this race, and I think I probably did it a lot too. Actually, what's happening right now is I think I'm in a fast group of maybe six riders, and it isn't until lap 12, I think, that I actually pull out and actually drop back and sit in, and that's when I realize that there's like 13 or 14 people with us. Yeah, so again, what happened was that, when the front guy pulled off, the guy that was in second that had just done a pull before him, he pulled off as well. So I pulled through from third wheel, and I pull through fast. There's a gap. It gets quickly closed. So, I said I was hoping to get in a breakaway during this race. It doesn't happen. There's no breakaways in this race. Anytime someone's off the front, especially if it's more than one person, the gaps are getting closed quick. And you'll see some really good examples of that coming up, where I really try to go hard and try to make a gap and get a break. And the group we were in here was just not having it. Everyone was willing to close gaps, which is great. It sucks when no one's willing to close the gap. Yeah, so coming through that turn, I pull through as fast as I can, always make a gap right there. They close it right up quick, but it's still fun. I just love the feeling of the speed through the turn. Yeah, here comes the green jersey again. He's fast, and then this guy that won the time trial yesterday. And that guy there, okay, the guy sitting in front of me right now, he gets fifth place in this race, and he goes on a solo effort at the end with like 4 laps to go, and I didn't even realize it. So keep an eye on him when we get to the end of the race, because it is crazy. I honestly thought I got fifth until I realized that he was up there too, because I didn't see him take off. I didn't realize he was doing that. And then here I actually do an attack, right? So I start from fourth wheel and gain speed and pass the top 3 guys quickly, like so that they don't have time to react to how fast I'm passing them. Just to see how it goes, like I was saying, just for fun, just to see what throwing an attack feels like. But what ends up happening, and what I do throughout the race, is I just keep pulling. I'm off in the front and having fun going hard, and just keep doing it. So there's quite a bit of lap traffic in this race. Now see here, we got a gap. I think this is where he actually comes around me and he says, "Hey, let's work together. We've got a gap." And I'm like, "Yes, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I want to do this race. We're making a breakaway. We're gonna do it." We're not even halfway through the race, and it's a 2-man break. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. So I'm on his wheel. We're going through his turn fast, and I'm feeling like we gotta go even faster. So that arm was definitely asking me coming around, and I do it fast. Look at my speed, 33, 32 miles per hour. I'm going. Look behind me. We're not in a break. Nope, everyone's right there. Yeah, this guy in the green jersey, like I said, he's very strong, and he hung onto my wheel immediately when he saw us. I think he probably saw us and thought that we were going to attempt a break, and he shut that down right away. Unfortunately, it takes me longer to realize that, so I think I'm still trying to pull for the break, and I'm trying to get the guy I'm with to come around me, but he's not actually with me anymore. So yeah, I realized that, I think, around here. And then this is where you go slowest through the course, and then that slow speed kind of goes into this right turn, and then right there, that's where you kick it up. and that's a good feeling. I really hope I'm gonna try to get a power meter on soon so that you guys can see what's going on better. You know, I know the speed and the heart rate kind of gives you some information, but the power meter will really let you know where I'm going hard and where I'm not. All right, and here's this guy back on the front again. Like I said, he just puts in a lot of work. He's always pulling, and we've got another gap. We've actually got maybe even a better gap this time, but I don't think I realized it. And right here, I'm ruining it. If we had a breakaway attempt, I need to be on his wheel. I need to be getting that draft so that I have the energy to do a hard pull as soon as he's done with this. Because right now he's doing a hard pull, but it's not helping our break because I'm not getting the draft. And it's already shut down. Like I said, every time, very quick, the gaps were closing. Everyone was willing to put in the effort to not let anyone get away. And I was very happy with that because that kept the group pace up up high, which I loved, especially after the road race because I felt like the road race speed was too slow. So here we went fast. And before we started the race organizer was actually telling us that if we want to have a safe race, we need to make it go fast because going fast will spread out the field and that will make the race safer. And we did it, and it worked. We actually did not have a crash. Like I mentioned, the 3-4 race did have a crash. The P1-2 race also had a crash. So Cat 5 being the race with no crash was pretty exciting for us. And there I pulled through fast again. You see 27. Going by some lap traffic. I have seen some criteriums where they will pull lap traffic off the course. They did not do that here, but they never got in the way. All the lap traffic was extremely aware of us and when we were coming, and they were always yielding the inside lane to us. So we didn't have any issues with that. See, these guys pull through a little faster than I want to go right now, and I just kind of hang back and let more people pull through until eventually all the gaps are filled just from people pulling through. So now I'm back in the draft and I'm sitting, what, fifth, maybe sixth wheel. So this is a very good position for me to be in right now and try to let my heart rate come down a little because so far in this first half of the race, I've been doing a lot of work. So I need to get off that for a bit and let my heart rate come back down because if I want to average 182 like I did, I need to be under 182 sometimes. And so far I've just kind of been over it the whole time. But as you can see, like I was saying earlier, it's a problem for me through this whole race. I let these gaps get way too big. I should always be getting the draft from the person in front of me. Otherwise, why am I even behind them? So here I catch back up to them, get back in the draft. And you can see there was a team here. I think the guy I was talking about that tried to make a break with me, he might have had a teammate too. I feel like there was someone else in a very similar looking kit. But he wasn't up in the fast group. I'm not sure if they were on a team or not, but these two guys obviously are, and they have a third teammate too who got dropped, you know, from this fast group. But these guys on the team here, they come in third and fourth. Yeah, so they both end up on the podium. And see, there's one of them pulling now. So we're on lap 14 of 28. We've done 13 laps, so we're not quite halfway through the race yet. So one of my major goals for this race was to try to make the pace faster, try to get more people dropped, try to make there be a fast group instead of letting the whole group stay together. And I actually didn't have to do that myself. I mean, I did, you've seen I've put in a lot of work toward making that happen, but these guys that were in this race with me, they made that happen before I did, right? Like lap 1 when I was just sitting in, they started making that happen before I was even ready to start going hard. So there you saw with the two guys on the team, the one that was pulled off, and then the other one was going to pull through, and it looked like he was going to take a pull, but then this guy came and took the pole before he was able to, and then, you know, that guy, I hardly let him pull before I just go around him and start pulling again myself. So like I said, when I was getting ready for this race, I'm just going to go out there and do whatever I would want to do. So coming up here, now listen to the announcer. Right, he said merchandise preem next lap. So this is now a preem lap, which means whoever finishes this lap in first place will get some sort of merchandise prize. And I decided right away, as soon as I hear him say that, that I want to win the preem. Because I don't think I'm winning the race. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll win the preem, you know, especially, I mean, there's a merchandise prize. Yeah, of course. That sounds maybe even better than getting a medal. I don't know. It depends what the merchandise is. I have no idea what it's going to be. I didn't know that we were going to do a preem lap. But so far, this guy in the green jersey has just given me an amazing pull all the way around this lap. Now, I do have people, one guy right on me. See, now this could have been a nice breakaway, too, if we knew about it. But I had no idea that we were a three-man group with that big of a gap. I was just thinking about winning this preem, so I'm like, second wheel, this guy's still going hard, you know. So he's trying to pull off, but I'm not quite ready to sprint, so I try to stay behind him a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it. We'll give it a shot. So 30, we're going fast, right? He's looking back. He's waiting for me to go take it, because obviously he's probably not trying to win this preem. He just, you know, did a pull the whole lap through. So there you go. Finished first place in the preem lap. I ended up getting a prize for that. A nice little box of bonk breakers. Never had before. Just, you know, it's kind of a granola bar or something. So that's probably worth maybe 20 bucks or so. So that was a nice little prize. And then I sprinted ahead of everyone. It's going super fast, so I'm off the front now. But obviously, just over halfway through the race, being off the front solo is not a viable strategy. So I kind of chill out, let everyone catch back up to me, which they do. You know, I didn't slow down that much. I'm still going 23, but they catch right back up. So I think they were trying to catch me, you know, in case I didn't slow down. And then here I take the outside lane to try to let the group come through on the inside so I can go sit in for a bit and recover from my sprint effort for the preem, which seemed like it was pretty much uncontested. I think I worked a lot harder for the preem than I needed to. No one else really seemed interested in it. So here, coming into the finish of lap 16, this is the first time that I actually dropped all the way back to the back of the fast group, and the first time that I actually see how many people are up here with me. Because I thought we were going so fast that our group was going to be small. Like I knew there was a group with me still, but for it to be this size, which I think we've got maybe 15 riders out here with us still, I was not expecting. I thought 6 or 7, you know. So basically, it's twice as big as I thought. But I'm still happy with the speed. I'm still excited that we're going so fast. But yeah, this was news to me. So I'm realizing when I see the group this big that I've been polling way too frequently. You know, I've been taking polls every 4th or 5th guy, and I'm in a group of 15. That doesn't sound right, does it? So that's when I realized, all right, the effort I've been going at was unsustainable. And I definitely want to stay with this group and not get dropped from them. So right now, I need to sit back and make sure I'm able to do that. And the way to do that is to spend a little time sitting in. Now, I said I got really bored sitting in on Saturday during the road race, and I did, but that's because I didn't have a period before that where I worked myself. So right now, I'm feeling good because I'm feeling like I already put in a lot of work. All right, so I've done a little bit of sitting in. Now, I know it doesn't seem like I sat in that much, but I'm starting to feel like, I'm ready to get back out there. But I'm trying to control myself and force myself to sit in a little more as my heart rate's still over threshold right now. But I decide that at the end of this lap, I'm going to throw a big attack and see if anything happens. Really, I'm just trying to do it over and over enough times to start collecting experience and data for myself to be able to evaluate so that I can understand how these bicycle races work. So we're coming around. I decide I'm going to attack at the end of this lap. It's too early for a solo effort, but it would be a pretty good time to go ahead and get a 3 or 4 man break off from this group. Now that I realize how big the group is, I think it'd be a good idea to break from it. So here I go around that corner. The group kind of bunched up for a second, so I pick it up and speed off. Looking back, no one really went with me. Oh no, I think this guy might be trying to go with me. I just might have taken off too fast for anyone to go with me. This guy in the blue though, he is catching up. There's a gap behind him. So that could be a 2-man break if we were able to work together really well. But instead of doing that, he slows down as he gets near me. So that was the end of that. Fast forward a little bit. Now we're on lap 23, finishing lap 23. So I'm going to show you the last 4 laps of this race and show you how the end of a Criterium plays out. Now one thing, I don't know if you noticed this during the rest of the video, but we're not that close together. You know, I was worried that in a Criterium, everyone's super close together, bumping shoulders all the time. I've heard stuff like that. That was not the case in this race at all. It might have helped that it was on a racetrack, so the turns are really wide instead of the sharp 90-degree turns you'll get on a downtown track. But I actually never touched anybody during this race. During the road race, I bumped shoulders, I think twice, with some different guys. But during this race, I had no contact with anybody. You know, I was worried about how to handle being so close to people while turning. That wasn't an issue. I could get further away from them if I wanted. There was plenty of room on the track, so I only had to be as close to anyone as I was comfortable being. All right, so these guys are on a team, right? And you got one pulling and one sitting second wheel. And here I am third wheel, so I sort of think we're in some kind of regular rotation and that eventually this guy on second wheel will take a pull. But that is not what they do. So maybe this is normal team tactics. I really don't know how team tactics works yet. So he pulls off, but then this guy, he looks back like he's waiting for someone else to come around, and he's not really going through. So I figure out it's my turn and I pull through, but I'm not super happy about it, so I pull through hard. And I try to force them to do work to stay with me because I don't like it. I don't like watching people try to get out of work. So these guys stay with me. And you know, and then the guys behind them are having to catch up to them too. So I really forced everybody to kind of do some work there, which is good. I think that's the point of attacks. If I've got this straight, and there's my favorite corner, right? Pull through it really fast. I can always make a gap there. That was my favorite part of this whole track for sure. Right? And so this guy, he comes up to me, he closes that gap, really calm and cool right there. But I'm still pulling. Remember, I pulled through. Where did I start this pull? Back around the finish line. And I brought it all the way up to here. So we're 3/4 of a lap now that I've been pulling, and this is the 4th to last lap. All right, now see this guy up in front of me? He's in my race. He's sitting first position. I'm not first wheel right now. He is. And I did not know that. Even when I go watch my video, I haven't found the point where he takes off. But I think everyone else, or at least some of these guys, at least those guys, first and second place there, they realize that he's in the race, and they're probably wondering, they were probably expecting me to put in more effort to chase him down. Now that we've got 3 laps to go now, but I didn't know he was out there. He's out on his solo effort, and it almost works for him. So 28 laps is a weird number, right? So a criterium is actually based on time. So how they do it is they just say, all right, start your race, and 35 minutes into the race, we're going to say 5 laps to go. So we ended up doing 28 laps total, but it could have been 30 laps or it could have been 23 laps, totally depending on how fast we go, because it's on a time limit until you get to the last 5 laps. All right, so now I'm starting to sit in a bit. I'm trying to control my heart rate, get it back down a little because I'm going to need it for sure for the last lap, and I just pulled the whole way through the 4th to last lap. So I need to sit in a bit and let these guys do some work. Now see the guy up front, there's guys doing work that do well in this race. You don't have to just sit in to do well in a race. But now you notice everyone seems to be kind of a lot more anxious to be further up front than they were previously. And 26, 25 miles per hour, our speed's kind of the same as it's been all race, really. All right, here's another lap. So we got 2 laps to go now. We're on lap 27 of 28, 2 laps to go. So having watched some race videos on YouTube, with 2 laps to go, this is where I start thinking that I need to be very cognizant of my position in the group. I need to maintain, a position near the front, maybe 4th, 3rd, 5th wheel, somewhere around there, because everyone's going to want to be there. So right now, everyone's going to be trying to get there, but next lap, even more so. If you're not already there, you're not going to be able to get there. So that's what I was thinking, and I was looking around, and I was thinking I was sitting pretty good. I'm kind of right where I want to be. But then some people come around. Now I'm a little further back than I wanted to be. But really, I'm planning on pulling through that turn that I love, where you come out of the right, and then I just power through that left. I'm planning on attacking there, and it's only like half a lap from there to the finish, and I think it's going to be enough time if I attack there to get, I'm going to attack there to get up to the front of the group, and then I'll be in the front of the group, not the front, but the top 3 or 4 through the turn, and then I'll be there for the sprint finish. That's my plan, but I look back right now, and I'm last. Out of this fast group, I'm in the very back, which which is not ideal, not exactly where I want it to be. So here we can see now, since I'm in the back, here's everyone that ended up staying with the fast group through the race, except for that one guy that got off solo. He's still out there solo, which I don't realize. I am not aware of that. In fact, I thought I was going to do better than I did because I didn't realize that he was out there. So here, that's where I plan on attacking, but this guy is like going hard right out there, so I jump on his wheel. And then the guy in the green jersey, watch him. He makes a brilliant move right here because he's almost boxed in, but he gets around like 3 more guys right there into that turn. And here you can see up ahead of me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a big gap. So I'm like, oh man, I missed it. There's the top 5. What am I doing way back here? But here's this guy that was so good at closing gaps all race, and he's going for it. So I'm going to get his wheel. I'm going with him. And then I do this sprint. One of those top 5 is right here, falling back. He can't do the sprint, so I pass him. But now I look ahead of me, and there's 5 people ahead of me crossing the finish line. So that guy that slowed down on the finish line, that was the guy that had been off solo forever. And they just came around him right in the final sprint there. I think he had a really good chance of winning the race with that tactic he used of going off early. I might give it a shot sometime, especially in one of my Cat 5 races where they're really just for practice. So here's your podium. This guy closest to us on the right, that's your man with the solo effort. And the orange and black guys, both of them got on the podium. Really nice race for that team. You can see everyone's super dirty and exhausted, but it looks like they loved it.
Goodbye.